Whereas for Chelsea, the target would very explicitly be for Champions League football next season.
Yeah.
And they find themselves only a point behind Liverpool and only 3 points behind Aston Villa if it were to be 4 teams in the Champions League. But Liam Rosenior said they are a young, very emotional squad. That's what Chelsea have chosen to build. But what kind of difficulties does it bring with do you think?
Do you know what it brings? It brings that inconsistency. It brings that inconsistency. I've said before, they're not a million miles away, this Chelsea team. It's just the little bumps in the road and the inconsistency at this moment in time. For example, you cast your mind back to the Villa game, they get a great result, and then the next game they lose against Newcastle. That kind of inconsistency needs to try and iron out. But I agree with what I said at the end. You know, it's been a tough week. It's been a tough couple of weeks. He'll find a lot out about his squad. I think the international break has come probably at a good time for him. But then obviously you need to look at the table and go, OK, we got away with one today. Liverpool lost. We're 1 point away from Champions League qualification. So there's almost, as well as you can't accept the result and the performance today, there's also a call for just calm. You know, you're 1 point away. It's not all doom and gloom. We've
been getting the thoughts of both sets of supporters via the Finalysis app to try and work out what's gone well, what hasn't gone well. Beto, unsurprisingly, with 2 goals and an assist, tops the Everton ratings with 89. Jordan Pickford, big couple of saves from him on 84. James Garner with the assist to that great ball through for Beto for his opening goal, wasn't it? 83 for him, and David Moyes with 89, level with Beto. What is less, or what fans are less impressed with, have been some of the Chelsea players. So Estevao with 69, Enzo with 30, Cole Palmer with 30, and Liam Rosenior with just 15. I mean, he's pointed out himself that over his time as Chelsea manager, they've had the 4th best points return of any team in the Premier League. So why is the approval rating, why is the opinion of fans so low, do you think?
Because of this moment. You know, because of the moment they're in at this moment in time, and the scrutiny is on, and obviously the results have not been great. I'm sure when he first came and he was getting the wins, he's getting pats on the back. So it's important to not be too high at times and not be too low. It's like to have a balance. But there's no surprise. Obviously, off the back of a result today, Everton were fantastic today. But Chelsea were way below par, way below the levels that they expected. So that's no surprise in my eyes.
And particularly because it comes off the back of what Liam Rosenior described as a really, really difficult week. In fact, it's been a really difficult 10 days with 3 defeats. With 3 defeats by 3 goals or more, and the 1-0 defeat by Newcastle. Obviously, this is Paris Saint-Germain. These are the European champions that are inflicting a couple of those heavy defeats. But it just, as you said, creates this atmosphere around the club of negativity, even if results elsewhere have been all right.
But that's what comes with being at a big club. That's what comes with being at a club like Chelsea. Like, when I was there, it was the same. You know, in good moments, it's fantastic. In bad moments, the light's on you. And you just have to accept that as the manager is obviously new, young manager, given a great opportunity, which is obviously great to see. And players that are inexperienced somewhat. And I've said there's also an element of patience with this young squad. We can't keep saying that. But at the minute, they've not got the experience that, for example, the PSG team has. So you're going to get these wobbles, you're going to get these inconsistencies, and that's going to be the frustration for the Chelsea fans and for Chelsea in general. He needs to try and iron that out and get the consistency levels at a level where they obviously can compete. But I don't see him being too far away.
I mean, today it wasn't as though there were loads of chances created. But over the last 3 games, and we made this point with Leeds, where it was, 56 shots without scoring a goal. Chelsea are over 50 shots in the last 3 games without managing to score a goal. So there might be an issue there that needs to be addressed. But they've got the game against Port Vale coming up in the FA Cup. Then they've got Manchester City and Manchester United, both at home in the Premier League after that. Is that somewhat of a mixed blessing, the fact that they've got these big games at home?
Yeah, but you relish the big games. You relish the big games. And these are the games that you can make a statement, and these are the games that you can switch that mentality. Not mentality, the noise, for example. I want to dampen down the noise at this moment in time. But these are games that you should relish. Obviously, the FA Cup's important.
Well, what do you think when you look at this run of fixtures? Obviously, there's those really 2 tricky fixtures. Brighton, obviously, are going to be a tough opponent. They've beaten Liverpool today, Chelsea's Champions League rivals, by 2 goals to 1. Then it's Nottingham Forest fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table. They take on Liverpool, which could be a significant result in terms of who finishes in the Champions League place. Spurs second to last game of the season, and then Sunderland on the final day. I
don't think you can look past, obviously, the Port Vale game they need to figure out. I don't think you can look past the two Manchester teams. I think they need to survive those two. They need to come out of that with... It can't be 3 goals against, no goals going forward. There needs to be some progression. You're not sure what Man City team you're going to get. Man U obviously in pretty decent form at the moment. And then, as you said, none of those games are easy for totally different reasons. But your Chelsea Football Club, you spent a lot of money. You have got a good squad. There's a few injuries and stuff there. They just need to find that bit of confidence. They hopefully play well against Port Vale, go into the Man City game again, put on a good display, and before you know it, they're probably looking down rather than looking up. But again, it's going to be a tough little start to April. But again, that's where Chelsea want to be. Chelsea want to be competing for those Champions League spots. They could have been worse off. If Man U would have obviously won, they'd have been 4 points behind, and then it's an even worse situation to be in. But as it stands, 1 point's nothing, and it's still in their own hands. And
these are the pressures, because we talked about the end of last season, and we said, with a few games to go, we're saying they need to qualify for Champions League, and they need to win the Europa Conference League Cup. And if they didn't do any of them two, it's been a bad season. They managed to do the two, so it ended up being a good season. And this is the pressure. The business end of the season, they're expected to be in the Champions League positions, and they have these games to do it. And that's the pressure which comes with being at Chelsea. And like I said, the FA Cup is vitally important as well. So there's still plenty to play for.